Hi, welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm Chief Alan Rodbill of the Scottsdale Police Department. With me is Miss Chris Vassal, our community liaison.
I love the Miss. You always call me Miss.
Should be Ms. I
Ms.
never get that right.
Ms. That's okay.
Okay.
It's good. I like Miss.
Anyway, here it is.
I know.
November. How did that happen?
I don't know. Last time we were talking, it was like 190 degrees outside, and we were talking about kids playing out on the street and be careful. It was summer.
And I know we talked like early in the year how I hadn't even, how we got to April or May or June and how we hadn't paid for last Christmas. It's already Christmas, and I still haven't paid for last Christmas.
And Christmas has been out since August. So
today I saw on the news that in the corner, just the beginning of November, in the corner I saw Season's Greetings. On the corner of a newscast.
I know.
I'm thinking, what season are they greeting us?
Sirius XM told me today that Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and everything, you want Christmas songs on 3, and if you want more modern Christmas songs, it's on Channel 4 of Sirius. So just so you know, Christmas songs are out already too. Crazy.
They're rushing our lives.
And we just finished Halloween.
Yes, literally.
Literally.
Yeah. Although I've got remnants around the house, unfortunately, and hidden
Do you
away.
notice how you always buy candy that you like?
If
you buy candy you like, you put that aside and get the
corn?
stuff you don't like.
Yeah, why would I buy candy corn? That's to give out. Anyway, so those of you who like candy corn, I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Yeah, well, you can't do that anymore unless they're packaged, because that's.
You just don't take a fistful and just throw in the bag?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Remember when we were kids, they used to give you apples and just like food, and they'd throw it in your bag, or pencils or stuff like that.
The dentist gave us a toothbrush. That was great. You get pennies too, but pennies were a lot of money.
I know, we used to get pennies. That's so.
That was after the Civil War, just when I returned home from the Civil War.
It was a long, long time ago. Oh my goodness!
Well,
let's get to our show.
If we can stop being serious for just a moment.
Let's just get to our show.
So we just graduated our 59th class for Citizens Academy. And we're signing up folks for the 60th, which we should do something big and special for that, because that's a big deal. That's 30 years of the Citizens Academy, long before you and I were born.
Well, we're past the 60, so we'll celebrate with them.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for pointing that out. So anyway, I hope I lived through the program. So anyway, so that's coming up. So people that are interested, go online already.
Yes,
and fill out your applications.
I have I think 10 applications already.
Wow, so it does fill up quickly. So if you're interested, please fill out the application. It is holiday time coming up, and this program will go into Thanksgiving. So I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, of course, but a safe one. We had a safe Halloween, which is always kind of scary because the kids are in costumes and it's dark and
they're running
there's
and
traffic
they're
and they're running across streets, and so we're glad to report that, to the best of our knowledge, certainly it was a safe holiday season. But kids are still in school, and we realize that it's getting darker quicker. Kids are out there on their bikes or in their dark clothing, and we got to be very careful on the roads. And so, a gentle reminder about that as well.
Absolutely.
And they're all sugared up, which remind them of that. So anyway, so just some cautions.
Yes.
So today's program, we're going to talk about some of our unsung heroes.
The behind-the-scenes people that don't get to see, but whose work makes everything else possible.
When you think about the tens of thousands of people they probably touch every year, and the work that they do, and the fact that people don't realize, all the great work they do until they need them, it's kind of a nice opportunity for us to have a conversation about how this division works and what services they provide if people need the services, and how to get those services.
You see the flow chart.
Are you juggling?
If you see the flow chart, it's not just like PD that they service the courts, and they service other agencies and stuff. So I'll let them, I won't take their thunder, but it is more than just PD based, their departments. So
thank
shall
you.
We
so absolutely. Let's talk. Whitney, I'm going to introduce you and ask you to talk about yourself, and then you can pass the torch on to your staff. But Whitney Pitt is our director of our records division, and has been for how long?
I've been the records manager for about 3 years, and with the Scottsdale Police Department for about a little over 3.5.
It's amazing because time has really gone by. I would not have guessed 3 years. And so thanks for being here today.
Yes.
We want to talk about police records, which again probably provides service for, over the course of the year, tens of thousands of people, considering the records that come in and the requests that are made, and the continually new and more demanding requests are coming through now with the advent of on-body camera footage at the level that we're doing that.
Right.
So if you don't mind telling us a little about introducing your staff, but first again, tell us a little bit about your background, please.
Sure. I'm an Arizona State University graduate, so I'm sure that'll make a lot of viewers happy.
Except half the TVs went off if they went to Arizona University. University of Arizona,
yes.
so that's it.
Shoot. Yeah, so I graduated from Arizona State University. I worked for Target for 8 years and ran stores, multiple stores with Target. And then my husband actually works for the Scottsdale Police Department, and so he was the one who told me, this is a great opportunity for you. I love where I work. So I researched it and became a member as a supervisor at the Scottsdale Police Records Department. And then about 6 to 8 months later, the manager got promoted, went to a new role, and then I was able to fit into that manager role and have been taken over since then. And like you were saying, in police records, we do everything, anything that you could think of that the Scottsdale Police Department touches is a public record almost. So if you asked for an email, a document, a report, an accident, everything almost is potential for a public record for a citizen to ask for.
And it's your responsibility, of course, to produce that.
Yes, to produce it with appropriate redactions if necessary, and not even just for the public, but we also have governments and courts, law enforcement agencies, the FBI, many different agencies ask for police reports.
We're going to talk about that in detail in a moment, but I'm going to brag about you just for a second, and if I'm wrong, don't correct me. So, not on the camera anyway.
Sure.
So, if I remember correctly, many years ago, and we've had this program a number of years where police officers of Scottsdale Association will come out and talk about the Shop with a Cop event at Christmas time. But you were always instrumental in your leadership role at Target at making that happen and be successful.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you publicly for that, because you touched, prior to being a police employee, a City of Scottsdale employee, you touched hundreds of young people's lives at holiday time. And I wanted to thank you publicly for that, the hard work that you did to make that happen. So
that's an incredible memory that you have. That was probably 8-10 years ago. So thank you very much.
Probably in the early stages when we started this whole process.
The Shop with a Cop during the winter months when we take the underprivileged children, and Target was very instrumental in opening their stores to us, and the officers would raise money, and then the kids would given money, and then we went to Target and shopped.
Yeah, they were great partners.
It
was Whitney's leadership that I really appreciated.
Absolutely.
Those early young years of putting that together, and it still survives today. We're
still doing it today.
Thank you. So anyway, thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit about, why don't you first of all introduce Brandy and AJ.
Yes,
and,
of course.
And they can talk a little bit about what their positions are.
Of course. This is Brandy Clark. She's a supervisor with Records. So you can tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up here.
Okay. I am an Arizona native, so one of the few. I actually had a career in orthodontics, so the dental field, for 14 years. My husband's also a city employee, not with police department, but with Parks and Rec, and he, same thing, loves the city of Scottsdale, just the customer service and everything that the city provides for everybody. And so I also, as Whitney did, wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to work in the same environment, so I applied and became an account specialist for the police department, where I did budgets for communications, crime analysis, technology, and resource management. And I did that for about a year, and then was promoted to municipal security, where I did backgrounds for contractors, volunteers, employees, badging, all the doors and security that we provide. And I did that for a year, and then was promoted to the police records supervisor, which I've been for 2 years.
Very nice. So how many years have you been with us total?
4.
Wow, yeah. Pretty cool. And you actually were in the dental field.
I was.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'll be doing this the rest of the time. Very cool. You want to introduce AJ to the folks?
Yes, and then we have AJ Chung, who's with us today, and he is a record specialist that specializes in training of our new employees.
Oh, okay. Didn't realize that. So how long have you been doing that part?
So I've been doing that for about 7-8 months now.
Okay.
But I've been with the department for 3.5 years. Before this, I was a landlord and a file clerk at a law firm. I'm going to be a little selfish, and I'm going to say happy anniversary to my wife. November 5th. I love you, Milano. Not a lot of dates I remember, but I remember that one.
Oh,
smart man.
And speaking of Milana, she's also very involved with the department, so I'm going to give her kudos as well. But she's a SIPA's board member.
Okay,
so
yes.
she is also very instrumental in getting a lot of things done for SIPAs, and she's fantastic. So happy anniversary,
Okay,
Melanie.
not everybody knows what SIPAs is.
Our Citizens Police Academy alumni.
Okay, thanks. I did know, I just can't remember. Anyway, pretty cool.
Yep.
So you're actually the trainer.
Correct.
Okay, and I know we always have a lot of turnover because a lot of these positions sometimes are entry-level avenues for employees to go other places within the department. And so how many people have you been involved in training in the last 8 months?
Training, I'd say about 4.
Okay.
Yeah. From start to finish, 2, but I've been getting my feet wet and trying to learn the system first. So I helped with about 3 other ones to get acclimated.
Very cool. Thank you for that, the additional responsibilities. So let's talk about hours. So the hours of operation for records is available to the public?
Yeah, it's 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon,
Okay.
Monday to Friday. We're off Granite Reef and Indian School, and we're attached to the headquarters building. So if you've ever been there, you've been to the records department, vice versa.
Yeah, people often will walk in the front door and get sent around to the side, so it is in the side of the building, and they can certainly walk to the front door and get that direction, but if you want to park on the side, there's parking on the side available to folks. So, okay, so let's talk a bit about police records, because we document everything, obviously, so calls for service that would require reporting, document is created, and those documents are, of course, get through the channels of being checked and make sure they're properly filled out. But then it comes to you all, and you have some responsibilities to making sure the accuracy and availability of the records. First of all, how many records are you seeing in the course of a year?
Wow. I think Brandy has a number just to
Oh,
give you an idea for
pretty
just
overwhelming.
last
What are the
year.
numbers?
I know. Since this last year, since January, our total public requests that we've processed have been about 800 to 1,000 every month.
Wow,
So, yeah, we deal with a lot of different requests.
So probably close to 11 to 14,000 a year, and that's just for public records requests. And a public records request could be anything from a copy of a call for service when they just called and briefly talked to the 911 operator, to an actual 911 call that's an audio. It could be an on-body camera, it could be an interview, it could be a police report, an accident report, it could be if you wanted a copy of any type of documentation that occurs within the police department. And that's for the public, and so those numbers are public records requests, but if you were to look at government requests, that would be adding another 8 to 10,000, if not more, that we do in a year for government agency requests.
And let's not forget, you're talking about requests made on public records, but you're the caretaker of all of our report records. And so I don't know if you know the number of reports that are written in the course of a year.
Oh, well, I know that we take about 30,000 departmental reports a year, so that's the actual reports of some form of crime that occurred, and that doesn't include accidents. So if we threw accidents in there, and I don't know the exact number on that, but accidents would be close to 40 to 50,000 reports that were written, but on top of that we could add field contacts, we could add call for services.
There's a lot more than just paper.
There's a lot more than just what's requested.
Any communication at all between the employees and the public, definitely. Plus you also have requests from us within the department as well. When we are getting a call, like if I get a call from a citizen who wants some additional information, I call them to get me the information so that I can give the citizen an information, and that might not be in that $80,000
Correct. I'm a frequent
request.
flyer that way.
Yeah, so there's a lot of internal requests from them as well.
And background checks. So we do background checks for all the different law enforcement agencies and city departments, not just for Scottsdale, but from across the nation. So if they're trying to be a police officer, a police aide, or a volunteer in a police department anywhere across the country, we get a background check for them that is completed within records specialists.
Plus
You
they
any idea
do,
those numbers?
they do the background checks for Citizens Academy twice a year as well, which is like 60 people that isn't in those numbers.
So if you're interested in being in the Citizen Academy, there'll be a background check.
Yeah,
That's
there
wonderful.
is.
Yeah.
There is.
We also on ride-alongs?
Yes, ride-alongs come through them as well. So, I mean, we probably couldn't even name all the things that they do, and usually we'll ask them to do something, or can you do this, and then they do it. So it could be anything, really.
Yeah. A multitude of requests coming from a number of
Absolutely.
directions. Okay, so there's a cost to this, of course, when someone requests a record. What are the costs?
So for a basic report, it'd be $5. For 911 audio, it's $16.50. On-body camera is $20. Interviews is $11. Photos is $5. And there's something called a record of search. That's basically a list of all the arrests that you've had here in Scottsdale and that is $10.
Okay, and I know that those don't cover the actual costs. I think those are actually prescribed by city code, or even maybe some controlled by state in terms of records costs, but they don't recover the costs of actually having to find that record. And then of course we talk about redaction very briefly, and I do want to go into detail about redaction because some people ask for a record, they get the record, and it's all darkened out, and it's like, what this is like, I can't read it, I don't know what it says,
What did I just
but there's a reason. I just paid for it. But there are reasons for that, and so the cost that you occur by asking for a record doesn't necessarily cover the cost of actually producing that record.
No, the only time the cost would actually cover the record is for subpoenas. So we get subpoenas from different lawyers or courts, and that's actually a state put together number. So that actually covers the cost of what we actually put together for them. But otherwise, no, it does not cover it. But it could be anything. Something could be quick as like a $5 police report that we can get done very quickly, or something on body camera. Now with so many officers having on body camera, there's a lot of different angles and a lot of different clips that have to be put together to make that. So that $20 covers the whole report, not just one officer's angle.
Interesting. So, we talked about this in an earlier show, but when we went into having on-body cameras for our officers, we started slowly because we wanted to make sure we could sort of control the technology rather than having the technology control us. Yeah. And the big concern was, we know that in the future, certainly 100% of all arrests will be on video. And of course, attorneys that are defending their clients are going to want to see the video before they make a decision on whether they should plea a case or fight a case. And so we got to figure out 100% of all arrests, right? And we have 15,000 physical arrests in the course of a year in the city, and another 2,500 DUIs, and another citations, arrests by citations. So all those contacts are on video, and many of those arrests are on multiple angles. Not just one officer, but many officers on the scene. Yeah. And we know that all comes into your office as that request. And we've seen, and I guess you can give us the numbers, we've seen the increases in requests on body camera footage when we first started 5 years ago, and body camera footage today 5 years later. So what are those numbers? They're huge. In
2013, we had a total of 6 on-body camera requests for the entire year. In 2017, we had 479, and just this year, in 2018, it's not even over yet, we have 517 already. Yeah. So it's gone up 292% just from 2015 to 16, and it's increasing so quickly.
And we have no reason to believe that's not going to, taper off.
Correct.
That trend is going to increase, and so that's a tremendous amount of workload on the department, and certainly within your office. And so thanks, but we're seeing tremendous increases. We're seeing increases in revenue.
Correct.
But revenue, and I think that's almost 200%, right?
It is.
But we're not seeing necessarily revenue cover costs, so there's still cost of doing business. Now, are we pushing some opportunity to get reports online versus having to come in to see you? What kind of reports are available online?
We are able to produce anything but the record of search online. So somebody can go onto our portal, which is on scottsdaleaz.gov, and they can request their report, their accident, 911 calls, call for service, field contact, interviews, photos, anything online from their home.
And there's a charge for that, of course, and they just pay online.
It's the same fee as if they were to come in, and currently our date that we're working on was today. So if you come into the office or you do it online, you're going to get your report at the same time. We have no backlog at this moment.
No backlog. No. Now that's great. I'm going to just brag on that.
Right?
That was actually one of my SMART goals, by the way. That was actually one of my SMART goals at one point for the city manager, but I will tell you that is incredibly impressive. If you think about the number of requests you get, and we're talking same day delivery.
That we have, right? In the department, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what the point is that you're saying the number of employees.
That's awesome. That's my point.
Yeah. To the amount of requests.
Yes.
What is the ratio?
I don't even know.
How many people do you have in the department total?
So we've got 11 record specialists, 2 vacancies right now. We've got 2 part-time workers, 6 senior specialists, 3 supervisors, and 1 manager.
400 officers, but other people write reports too.
Exactly.
Other people write reports. So it's pretty amazing. So I'm very, very proud of that. keep up the great work. But you know, there's if it's not same day delivery, we're pretty darn close to getting things done pretty quick. So I know we're down considerably because at one time we were beyond weeks, weren't we? At one time, you guys worked really hard to get to this point.
I do. There was time. I think at our worst, we've been three months backlogged, and you know, we worked really hard and used technology to innovate and get us to this point. And we've got an awesome staff, even being down 2 specialists that hopefully will start soon with us. Okay. We're at a great number because we've got great senior people that know what they're doing and that are passionate about giving great customer service.
So when I order something online, though, do I come pick it up, or is it sent to me? Because obviously it can't be sent to me the same day delivery. so if I want it right away, I come in and get it. But so things are like sent through U.S. mail, or
it depends on how you choose. You can when you fill out your request, we can send it to you through secure email, which has a code, so it's completely safe. So no one else would get your information. We also could mail it, or you could come in. So when you submit the request, there's any of those options. Okay.
So let's talk about redaction real quick, because that's something a lot of people don't fully understand, that there's some information in those reports that we cannot release to the public. It's protected by law, and we do comply with those requirements. So let's talk about redaction. Let's start first of all talking about reports and redacting reports. What kinds of information is typically redacted out of a police report when I request it?
Sure. So if you're for the public, so a public citizen that's asking, just anyone off the street that would want a copy of a police report, we redact date of birth, social security number, addresses, phone numbers, and then any personal identifiers that would be related to an arrest. So a PCN number, which is about a fingerprint number, an FBI number, which would be part of a jail number, an arrest ID, and all of those are to protect the citizen. Once we release a document, so say an accident report or a criminal damage report, and we release that to one person, we now can release that exact report to anyone else, or that person could give it to a friend or the next door neighbor, and we want to protect everyone and make sure that none of their personal information is out there. But majority of that, social security numbers, personal identifiers, are also a state statute. We have to follow policy for the city, but also state statute to protect our customers and citizens.
So I'm a little suspicious.
Sure.
Don't you like take things out that you don't want me to know?
No, you know, we really, if it's something sensitive, so a sensitive report for us would be a major crime. So something our violent crimes unit would take care of, a homicide, a domestic violence, sex assault, any of those type of major sensitive type cases, we do send to the officer to say, hey, this is what's going to be released. Are you okay with it? And we give them 7 days to respond, because we want them to know that these major crimes and who's requesting them, and not that we don't redact differently based on who's requesting them, but more of an FYI, this person has it. Do we need to redact anything additional to help with the victim? Okay. So that would be about the only time. It wouldn't be our office that makes that decision, and anything that gets denied for the public would have to be, it's a long chain. So we very rarely deny anything for the public, and it has to be approved by myself, the PIO, our Public Information Office, and then all the way to our city attorney, and a lot of people involved if we were to deny, and it's very, very seldom.
Very cool. So let's talk about then video and audio.
Yeah.
So with video, does your office doesn't actually do the redaction with the video, right?
No.
That redaction is being done through the lab, right? And so so I know that one of the big issues for us it was, how do you do redaction of video and make sure you protect victims, witnesses, young children, right? And numbers that might be seen, whether it's a license number that officer might be looking at, or anything else that might be identifiable. So we have a fogging ability, I guess, to fog a little bit to help out, but at the same time, even that can fail.
Right.
And so literally we go frame by frame by frame with a lot of this. And when you get to the audio part, things can be said that need to be redacted as well, which requires us to go frame by frame to make sure we cover all that. So it's a time-intensive operation. We can't be same day on that.
No, on body camera and the multimedia type items, so on body camera, photos, 911s, we can't say we release the same day because we have to take partners in other areas, like you said, the photo lab. So in those, we do give them a heads up of, hey, this is what their backlog is. In terms of paper police report, majority of the time we can give that the same day, or if it's sensitive, like I said, a homicide or a domestic violence or something of that nature, we will for sure get it to them within 7 days, because we have to make sure the officer knows. But yeah, they do have a lot of redaction, and so the process right now is after we take the request in, we have to partner and send it to the lab so they can work on it in queue, same way that we work on it from a queue. And then from there, the redaction is sent to the Public Information Office to double check that they didn't miss anything, and then we release it. So it has a double checks and balance, because you're right, it's an art, not a science when it comes to redacting video. It's not looking for numbers like we do for a police report. It's looking for faces and
people that shouldn't be in the frame, that against their rights, they don't want to be in something, but they just happen to walk by.
The victims, we have to, we have to protect children.
Yes.
We have to protect, and so we have to make sure that's done right. Even if you sort of fog out a face, if the face moves just for a split second to be freeze framed, it's a violation. So it's painstaking. It takes a long time to do. We all hope one day technology will catch up to us, and technology will master that, but that has been a huge challenge for law enforcement ever since the beginning of the on-body camera availability.
But it's so good that we have the body cameras.
Oh,
Everybody loves them.
Absolutely.
We love them. The public loves them. So it's been beneficial for everybody.
So what else do you think the citizens need to know about records in terms of availability and the things that you do?
You know, one thing I think that I don't think everyone realizes, if you're looking for a job opportunity, it's an entry-level position, but we just want someone with great customer service. So we are going to potentially have openings again this spring. We have a couple employees that have been with us for over 25 years. They're going to be hitting retirement age and ready to retire and go to their next job of hopefully golfing and vacationing. But with that, we're going to have another opening this spring, and if you're interested, or if it's something that sounds like, wow, what you've talked about, I'd love to learn more and be helpful and do that. We would love for you to apply, and hopefully we can have an opportunity for them.
Yeah, and we talk about entry level, but quite frankly, there's some people that have made a whole career out of this because they love the job, and it has great rewards, and it has great benefits. Thank you. And I think with you all describing sort of where you came from to get to the point where you're at is kind of great for the audience to hear that, hey, you know, not everybody goes to school and wakes up and says, I'm going to go work in the police department. Sometimes they go through a little bit of other experiences that determine, hey, I really want to try that. And so we're very, very fortunate that the three of you have decided to be part of our family. And so
Thank you so much.
We're lucky that way.
And it's nice to know that, as you see from our officers, our civilian or our sworn, we have a wide variety of backgrounds and expertise, and we're just, like you always say, very fortunate to have such great people working for us.
Thank you. Thank you all for being our guests. Thanks for being here today. And we'll have Records Division and the phone number down for folks if they need to get a hold of you for any reason.
Awesome.
And then we'll watch for there's a spike in work. Now it's the rest of our show. And so, again, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next month. Until then, be safe, be careful. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.